You could join us for 7:30 News Bulletin. My name is Fales Chizombe. First, the headlines. Pope Leo XIV appeals for peace amid a rising global conflict. Government renews commitment to inclusive service delivery. Speaker of Parliament names 15-member committee to probe fertilizer company delays in Doha. And in other news, UK triple murder suspect appears in court in South Africa. We have more stories coming up. Do stay with us. On the first Sunday of his summer stay in Castelgardov, after praying the Angelus in front of the Apostolical Palace, facing the Piazza della Libertà, Pope Leo XIV turned his thoughts to the many regions of the world affected by armed conflict, where civilians continue to bear the greatest suffering. The Pope referred specifically to the Middle East, where tensions have flared again following the collapse of hopes for a U.S.-Iran agreement, as well as to the ongoing crisis in Lebanon. He also expressed concern over the war between Russia and Ukraine, marked by intense attacks in recent days on Kharkiv, Dnipro, Kyiv, and Odessa. We have a Vatican News report read by Charity Chilanga.
The Bishop of Rome encouraged people not to lose hope and urged a return to dialogue and negotiation as the only path capable of achieving lasting reconciliation among nations. The Pope has also urged political leaders to resume dialogue and opt for diplomatic means to stop the escalation of conflicts. The Pope's words come at a time of rising international tension after the United States and Iran once again became embroiled in a dangerous spiral of attacks. The United States launched new airstrikes against Iranian territory following the Revolutionary Guards attack on a Cypriotic flagged cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Marking Sea Sunday, Pope Leo XIV remembered sailors, fishermen, and port workers around the world, noting that despite being separated from their loved ones and sometimes living with the fear of conflicts at sea, they continue through their patient and quiet labor to sustain global trade and the lives of many people. In conclusion, Pope Leo XIV recalled the centuries-old Marian pilgrimage to Czestochowa, one of the most significant expressions of faith in Poland and throughout Europe. The Holy Father then offered praise for the many Polish faithful gathered for the annual pilgrimage with the icon of Jasna Gora, expressing hope that as missionary disciples, they would continue to be joyful witnesses to the gospel.
The Mini Organizing Committee for the 125th anniversary celebrations of the Catholic Church in Malawi has appealed for public support as preparations gather momentum, with about 60% of the total budget raised. Speaking to Luntha television, the committee's chairperson, Father Godino Chimkanda, who also serves as curate of Mzamba Parish, said preparations are at an advanced stage and called on all wishes to contribute towards the successful hosting of the celebrations. Andrew Nandolo has filed this report.
Father Godino Chinkanda thanked the Malawi Conference of Catholic Bishops for allowing the celebrations to take place at Nzamba Parish. He then appealed to Catholic faithful and all well-wishers to support the committee to make sure the function a success.
First, I would like to see the MCCB has done quite a lot in terms of publicity, because they have managed to organize all the Catholic medias to to make a good team, and also to publicize it in their radios and TVs.
In his remarks, Owen Kiusi, chairperson for the fundraising committee, said currently they have raised 60% of the total budget of 45 million kwacha.
Tinapereka matageti kumalimana, tinamba ndi malimana athu, tili ndi malimana 104, tinapatsa target kuti yatasonka 8 million. Kenakonso tinaitanako anzathu Hallelujah bandi, tinali ndi madina and dance, komanso mapepa Sunday. Ndi njira zimene takatogwisa ntchito kuti tipezere chuma, komanso ndisayiwalenso makamaka anzathu amene ena akufuna kwabwino amene anabwera poyera nkudzatithandizanso. Mwina ndi njira zina zimene zikutithandiza kuti tipezere chuma choyendetsera chakachi. Tayesetsa kusakasaka ndalama, panopa ndithu tikhozonero ke tili pa 60% pa budget yathu, for budget yathu ndi ya 45 million kuti tithe kuyendetsa chakachi kunoku. Ndiye panopa tikhozonero ke tafika pa 60%, ndeti tikuperewera ndi 40% pa ndalama zimene ke titapeza.
The Catholic Church in Malawi is celebrating 125 years after the first Montfort missionaries, Father Augustine Prezo, Father Anthony Winen, and Father Pierre Bouget arrived at Port Herald to Sanje on 24 June 1901. Reporting from Balaka, this is Andrew Nandolo.
The Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Affairs, Mary Tomnovicha, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to ensuring that persons with disabilities have equal access to quality health care, education and other essential social services. Novicha made the remarks in Lilongwe during the launch of the Africa Disability Collaboration, a platform aimed at strengthening collaboration and advancing disability inclusion across the African continent. Emmanuel Chocha has filed this report.
Speaking during the launch, the minister said Malawi has nearly 2 million persons with disabilities, underscoring the need for continued investment in inclusive policies and programs. She said President Professor Arthur Peter Muntalika administration remains committed to promoting the rights and welfare of the persons with disabilities, adding that the ADC Summit provide Malawi with an opportunity to learn from other African countries on best practices in disability inclusion.
As you are aware, disability challenges is a very big issue in Malawi. Almost 2 million people with disabilities are facing a lot of challenges. So this summit will give us an opportunity to have expertise from our colleagues coming from outside. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Muntalika. His Excellency has time and again emphasized the need for collective responsibility among government, civil society organizations and NGOs. That's why Found for Nations is here today with other partners to ensure that we are working together.
Executive Director of Fountain for Nations, Patience Nkandawile, said her organization is honored to host the ADC and remain committed to working closely with the government and other stakeholders to ensure that every child with a disability grows up in a self-inclusive environment with access to education, health care, and equal opportunities.
By partnering with the ministry and offering developmental monitoring in Waila through Waila DHO and the Good Mission Hospital, we have collectively been able to screen close to 15,000 children. So being able to know that they're developing correctly and appropriately, and the ministry is committed to adopting early identification across Malawi.
This year's Africa Disability Collaboration ADC is being commemorated under the theme Early Action, Strong Start for Africa, a call for government and partners to invest early in inclusive policies and intervention that empowers persons with disabilities across the continent. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Chiwocha.
Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development Chimwemwe Chipungu has called on development partners, civil society organizations, the private sector and Malawians, both at home and abroad, to join efforts in ensuring every Malawian has access to decent housing. Speaking on Friday during the launch of Habitat for Humanity Malawi's 2025-2030 strategic plan, Chipungu noted that addressing the country's housing challenges requires coordinated efforts and sustained investment, stressing that quality housing is central to achieving the aspirations of Malawi 2063. Tandem Zumara has filed this report.
Chipungu commended Habitat for Humanity Malawi for its continued contribution to housing policy reforms, disaster recovery, and improving living conditions for vulnerable communities. He went on to note that the initiative complements the government's plan to construct 12,000 houses nationwide, with a significant proportion earmarked for the poorest and most vulnerable households.
I think it is a responsibility of all stakeholders of good standing to develop Malawi. The government alone cannot be able to construct houses for poor people and also to urbanize the communities. But if you have funders, people or stakeholders that have the resources, the doors are open to our ministry to work together so that Malawi becomes a better place to live. Malawians have decent houses to live. Malawians are living in houses that are matching the environment as we have climate changes.
Habitat for Humanity Malawi Programs Director Mavuto Kolowa said the strategy goes beyond providing shelter by ensuring families have access to lighting, phone charging facilities, and improved sanitation, while also supporting household economic empowerment through small business initiatives.
Our target is to build 800 new houses, but also to maintain and repair 1,600 houses. We are doing this through a combined approach where we have partners and supporters, donors that are coming in to contribute resources and also be able to build. Some are coming in as volunteers from all over the world, even in Malawi, who are coming to build the houses themselves. But also we have got partners, the government itself, making sure that the policy environment is good, so that then also the materials on the market for building are also accessible and affordable to most vulnerable people in our society.
Since 1986, Habitat for Humanity Malawi has supported more than 133,600 people through house and sanitation, disaster response, and slum upgrading programs. The 5-year strategic plan, valued at approximately $10 million, aims to build new houses, rehabilitate existing homes, and expand access to water, sanitation, off-grid solar energy, and livelihood opportunities. For Luntha News, this is Tandiwe Nzumara.
Government says the construction of a modern agricultural market in Lilongwe reflects a shift towards development that responds to people's needs, with the facility expected to provide vendors and farmers with a modern and organized trading environment. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony at Malangalanga in Lilongwe, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri said the project demonstrates government's commitment to delivering development that responds to the needs of communities, following demands from vendors for improved trading space. Constance Kantemeni has filed this report.
Piri said government wants to transform the country's trading environment by replacing outdated markets with modern facilities that provide vendors with a safer and more conducive place to do business while improving the marketing of agricultural produce. He said consultations with vendors revealed that many traders had been forced to operate along the streets because of inadequate trading space, prompting government to prioritize the construction of the market as a demand-driven project.
This place has been demanded by the vendors, and as you're well aware that this city, we do have a lot of vendors to the extent that some were applying their trades along the streets, which is not acceptable. But when we ask them to go out of the streets to make sure that at least our streets are well taken care of, they accepted. And the president promised, and we promised, that we are going to give them a modern market. Here is one of such.
In her remarks, IFAD Country Director Benedetta Mukonyora said the market is designed to help farmers earn more from their produce by connecting them to profitable markets, or promoting value addition, reducing post-harvest losses through cold storage facilities, and creating jobs, with about 31,000 people expected to benefit once the project is completed.
What we visualize is a completion of the agriculture value chain. As you heard from the minister, we are supporting agriculture productivity on high-value commodities, the soya, the groundnuts, sunflower, beef, honey, dairy. These are high-value commodities which have the potential to create wealth amongst farmers, amongst smallholder farmers.
Meanwhile, Vice Chairperson of the Central Region Vendors Association, Wilfred Mandala, has welcomed the project, saying it will ease congestion and provide a long-lasting solution to the shortage of trading space that has forced many vendors to operate along the streets.
Ife ngata sogoleri anzinda ametikangana mavenda mu Central Region ndife okonda kwambiri chifukwa cha nsika umene tapasidwa umenenso wakhazikisidwa lero ndi anduna. Ifeyo ngati asogolera amavenda tikuona kuti ntchito za mabizinesi zikhazi kupita kisogolo chifukwa cha nsika wamakono umenenso tapasidwa umene ukuyamba kumangidwa pano.
The 8 billion kwacha IFAD-funded market being constructed under the trade program will include 75 shops, space for more than 150 traders, banking facilities, and cold rooms, creating a modern trading hub expected to improve market access, promote value addition, and strengthen agricultural commercialization. Similar modern agriculture markets are also planned for Luntha, Cholo, Dedza, Mzuzu, Katabe, and Shitipa. For Luntha News, this is Constance Kamtemin.
Watching Luntha News with me, Fales Chizombe. Another look at our top stories before we proceed. Pope Leo XIV appeals for peace amid a rising global conflict. Government renews commitment to inclusive service delivery. Speaker of Parliament names 15-member committee to probe fertilizer company delays in Doha. And in other news, UK triple murder suspect appears in court in South Africa. Moving forward, government says the construction of modern agriculture market in Lilongwe reflects a shift towards a development that responds to people's needs, with the facility expected to provide vendors and farmers with a modern and organized trading environment.
According to Solomon, the committee will invest...
Already given you the report. Moving on, Speaker of Parliament Samir Suleiman has announced the establishment of a new 15-member committee to investigate the fertilizer manufacturing company. The announcement was made on Monday afternoon as Parliament entered the second week of the third meeting of the 52nd session. Robert Kalindiza has further a report read in our studios by Tandiwen Sumara.
Fertilizer manufacturing company, FMC, and established reasons behind delays in production and distribution. Some of the members appointed to the committee include Francis Kasaila, Catherine Gotani Hara, Felix Njawala, Kelvin Mpande, Aisha Mambo, Nancy Tembo, Chikonde Jisale, and Yona Mkandawire. The Speaker said the committee is expected to visit the company site in Doha and report back to the House with findings and recommendations.
It is clear that the matter does not really concern the Ministry of Agriculture, but the Ministry of Natural Resources and Ministry of Trade and agencies under the two ministries. Following my ruling, I did meet the chairpersons of the said committees, and I wish to report that the joint committee has since been constituted and is scheduled to commence its work this coming Wednesday, 15th July 2026, by meeting with relevant stakeholders that the committee has lined up.
In other business, during question time, Minister of Health Madalito Waloi noted that she is aware that many people in the country are facing difficulties in accessing health services. Waloi stated that government needs to intervene to address the challenges.
Chilinde Hospital was already upgraded to a community hospital. As you may recall, one of the strategic areas that my ministry is implementing is to ensure that we decongest the central hospitals. We are also trying to ensure that we move services closer to the people, and we want to make sure that in the absence of Lilongwe District Hospital, we should be able to have people and also areas that have majority of the population have community hospitals.
With fertilizer and health among the key issues this week, debate in the chamber is expected to remain active.
TVETA Chief Executive Officer Ewan Chiwembu Sichuola says the arrival of advanced training equipment donated by World Project from the Netherlands will help bridge gaps in technical colleges and improve skills development in Malawi. Chiwembu Sichuola made the remarks in Lilongwe during the official handover ceremony of the equipment, which will support practical training, particularly in automobile mechanics. We have more in this report forwarded by Gift Kalunga.
Chiwembu Sichuola says there is still a significant gap between the equipment needed in technical colleges and what is currently available. He, however, noted that the sector has made progress over the years, with some institutions having acquired better facilities, although shortages remain in some trades. He also said automobile mechanics has been among areas facing major equipment challenges, adding that the donation will help reduce the number of colleges lacking modern tools for training students. He urged beneficiary institutions to ensure the equipment is fully utilized and well maintained, saying it is expensive and cannot be replaced frequently.
The majority of this equipment is to do with automobile mechanics, but there are also some other equipment, computers and things like that. What you'll notice is that the type of equipment that is being donated here is very, very advanced. Most of our colleges in Malawi don't have them, and it happened that in our conversation with World Projects, they committed that they'll be able to organize this equipment in Netherlands and ship it to Malawi, and here we are today.
Representing the beneficiary colleges, Pwezi Technical College Deputy Principal Kondwani Ngoma said the institution is excited to receive the modern equipment, describing it as a major boost to skills development among young men and women in the technical colleges. He said the advanced machinery will help improve practical training and ensure graduates acquire skills that respond to industry needs.
As an institution, we are so excited for this donation. It will take a long way in the delivery of skills to young men and women in technical colleges.
The donation is expected to improve skill development in technical colleges by bridging equipment gaps, especially in automobile mechanics, and providing students with modern tools for industry-relevant training. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Gift Kalonga.
In sports, Football Association of Malawi President Fridud Haiya has commended the overwhelming support shown during the fundraising dinner for the Malawi national women's football team, the Scorchers, describing it as a strong demonstration of the country's commitment to the growth of women's football. Speaking at the fundraising dinner in Lilongwe, Haiya said the impressive response from government, the corporate sector, and individual well-wishers reflects the nation's confidence in the Scorchers as they prepare to represent Malawi at the 2026 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON, in Morocco. Patrick Popper has further this report.
Haiya said the financial contribution will play a vital role in ensuring that the team has adequate resources for training, travel, and participation at Africa's premier women's football tournament. Haya commended the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture for its substantial support, revealing that the ministry contributed 600 million, a donation that significantly boosted the campaign and helped push the fundraising total to 1 billion kwacha.
So for us, we are very thankful and we believe that with this short notice, what we have achieved today, assuming we had more time, I believe we could have reached even 2 billion mark as we speak today. I wanted to promise Malawians, I wanted to promise all the football lovers to say, as FAM, we already chose a path of being transparent, accountable. We are going to make sure that we are going to account this money, we are going to liquidate whatever we are going to get today, how we are going to use it, so that it's going to be also available at public domain, so that people appreciate to say, what are we going to use the money for?
Meanwhile, the Scoggers have left the country for Morocco ahead of the tournament, where they have been drawn in Group C, alongside Nigeria, Egypt and Zambia. The 2026 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations will run from 26 July to 16 August 2026 in Morocco.
In international news, a man suspected of killing his wife and 2 daughters in Berkshire appeared in Johannesburg Magistrate Court on Monday and was remanded in custody until July 22nd for authorities to establish whether he is in South Africa legally. Nothando Zandile Nshuma, 42, and her daughters Natalie, 15, and Nara, 5, were found dead by police in a house in Great Denham near Bedford on 6th July. We have a BBC News report read by Charity Chilanga.
Dodana Nkanyishi Choma, 45, has been charged in South Africa with illegal possession of a firearm, which carries a potential 15-year prison sentence for first-time offenders, while the court will also consider whether he should be extradited to Britain. British prosecutors have authorized police to charge Choma with 3 counts of murder after the bodies of his wife 42 and daughters 15 and 5 were found at their home in Bedfordshire early this month. South African police said Choma left Britain via Heathrow Airport before the bodies were discovered. According to South African police spokesperson Athrenda Amathi, the investigation shows that after landing in South Africa on July 5th, he then went to one of the townships and he bought a particular unlicensed firearm, and they suspected that this firearm was going to be used to end his life. Mathi added that South Africa has received a provisional extradition request from Britain but was waiting for a full document. She went on to add that Chuma's family in South Africa helped police apprehend him.
We now give you the weather update by Tapiwa Kudakumoto.
Good evening, and it's time for weather forecast. Cold to very cold conditions were experienced over most areas and reported this morning, with Mulanje Mountain reporting the lowest at 7 degrees Celsius, followed by Nyika in Rumpi, Chitedze in Lilongwe, and Katete Forest, which reported 9 degrees Celsius. We are currently expecting partly cloudy conditions and warm temperatures to persist over most areas during daytime, but generally clear skies and cold to cool temperatures are expected over most areas tonight and during morning hours. Occasionally windy conditions are also expected to persist over most areas, especially the central and the northern part of the country. Mwela winds with speeds of at least 40 km per hour will also continue blowing over our lake water bodies such as Lake Malawi. Hence, we are advising all lake users, including fishermen, to continue being very observant. This is all due to the influence of this high pressure system, which is still pumping in moist southeasterlies into the country, influencing all these conditions. Tonight, we should therefore expect clear skies over most areas in the south, the central, as well as most parts over the north, accompanied by cold to cool temperatures as well as occasionally windy conditions. Similar conditions are also expected tomorrow in the morning hours, coupled with fog patches in some areas, especially over the highlands and the valleys. Temperatures will also remain cold to very cold in some areas over the central, such as Dedza, Lilongwe and Nchinji, but generally mild conditions are expected along the lakeshore and some areas over the Shile Valley. Looking into the afternoon hours, we should expect mostly sunny conditions over the southern part of the country and partly cloudy conditions over the central as well as the northern part of the country. We are also expecting occasional windy conditions to persist over the country. Temperatures will also feel hot tomorrow in the afternoon over Ngabu, Nsanje, Mangoshi and most parts along the lakeshore, but generally warm to mild conditions are expected over the south, the central as well as the northern part. Looking into Tuesday, we should expect clear skies to persist at night time and during morning hours, while partly cloudy conditions are expected in the afternoon. We are also expecting occasional windy conditions to persist over the country. I'm Tepo Akutamutu. Be wise, be weatherwise.
That concludes our today's news bulletin. Before we leave you, another look at the headlines. Pope Leo XIV appeals for peace amid rising global conflict. Government renews commitment to inclusive service delivery. Speaker of Parliament names 15-member committee to probe fertilizer company delays in Doha. And in other news, UK triple murder suspect appears in court in South Africa. My name is Fales Chizombe. Thank you so much for watching and keep it Luntha TV. Goodbye for now.